everybody! So as you can see in front of you, I am now on a scroll frame, fabrics on a scroll frame on a Siesta Frames Stitch Master. I had to think then. And I've managed to get my phone camera on top. I've got a needle where I'm supposed to start. I've got my Kindle with my pattern off to the side. And obviously I'm not going to show you that. I've just looked at the main, very center piece, and according to the key, it is right in the center, either beads or petite treasure braid. So that's one way to start. I'm going to do some petite treasure braid. Here is petite treasure braid. I've used petite treasure braid in one other piece, which I think is Magwayan. It's my Bella Filipina piece. How exciting. So it says to do all the cross stitches first. So I just need to get back to page 36 or something. 34, 36. Oh, I got a colour. I don't know why I'm saying some of this stuff like it's a shock. Like, it's not a shock. I've looked at this pattern multiple times over the last 2 years. Anyway, so petite treasure braid. I don't want too long a piece. I have my trusty snips here. I like the snips as opposed to the scissors. I don't have any particular problem. I don't have any problems with my hands sort of picking up scissors or using them and stuff. But with the snips, I feel like there's just sort of one action. Whereas with the scissors, a lot of the scissors I've got are very thin to the table. So I find that I just can't pick them up off the table very well. And then you have to open them and then you have to close them to snip. So these are just quicker. I don't know. I don't know. Does that make sense? So I've got a reasonably long piece. There's loads of places I could go with this. I'm just looking. You can't really tell. So I'm just going to snip it anywhere. I haven't brought down any needle minders, which is very, very poor, which I will sort out in a minute. So I don't know which needle to use. Oh, that one seems okay. I'm going to see what happens. So this is 1 ply. Which needle have I picked up? Oh, this needle was on my snail, I think. Yeah, so I've put a knot in. I wouldn't normally use a knot, but I think it's absolutely fine to do that here because all of this is going to be stitched over and there's nowhere else for me to anchor my threads. Ooh! Okay, so just one stitch in the middle. So where should I go? Should I just go down here? It really doesn't matter. This is all stitched. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Oh, I am going to sit up a bit though. And I'm also going to stand on my stand. So I want that one, but this needle's in the way. That'll do. This is my first stitch. Okay, so where am I going? Oh, it's like I'm brand new. I'm going over here. Now, I don't know how gigantic. Oh, that's the other thing. So I know that my phone will focus on my... I'm going to try and... I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get it to focus not on my hand. I think it's just a very smart camera. I'll be quick. I don't know. Does anyone know how to do that? Does anyone know how to get it to not focus on their hand? Okay, what I've tried to do is turn off the auto focus, but it turns out it's already off. So it's just going to be whatever we can get. So because this is Petite Treasure Braid, I'm happy to do stuff the Danish method, or is it the English method? Hang on, go back down that hole. Wrong one. One, miss one, do one. One, miss one, do one. Those are my technical terms for counting. If this was variegated, I would do one stitch at a time, but it isn't. So I'm happy to do the bottom leg on both and then the top leg. I'm not going to do that with this one. Whoops. So stitching this two-handed, I can tell this frame isn't quite set up right for me at the moment. My left arm's having to go really high to stitch this. I'm also going to pull the whole thing towards me because I think that'll make things a bit better. Yeah, this is not going to be the setup that I go with, but I'm very lucky to have all these bits around me, so I'm not having a complaint. Oops. And I may change needles in a minute. Although on even weave, I do find it quite useful to have a quite rounded end. I'm just going to let this dangle underneath so I can spin the metallic. Sorry, you're getting a proper shot of my hand there. I was just going to say, I won't be, what am I doing? See, not distracted. I won't be, for anyone concerned, I won't be doing consistent, I won't stitch the whole thing with you guys. I just don't think that's going to be practical going forward, but for anything that I can stitch with you, I will be, but I probably won't be telling you what I'm stitching with, just to protect the pattern. Not that I think anyone could or would be able to follow the whole piece, but just in case. Petite Treasure Braid is so much nicer than Krynic, in my humble opinion. It just does what it's supposed to do. You can get through the whole thing. It hasn't separated. Like, there's the separate. Where's the camera? Where's the camera? There's the camera. There's the separation at the end. But for those of you who would have used Krynic, you would know that this separation would be down to here by now. I mean, it would just be awful. Right, so I think I've just noticed on the pattern as well, somewhere where there's a bead over a stitch. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is tricky to count on even weave for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1, correct? The camera's also in my way, but I know I'm not supposed to blame my tools. That's half a stitch. No. Try that again. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry if you just heard my tummy rumble. It was not subtle. For posterity, we've had the Women's England World Cup final today. Congratulations to Spain. And as soon as it finished and I watched some of the interviews, I went straight upstairs and started filming this because I didn't want to wait. Oh, back stitch. Oh, what was I saying about a needle? Oh yeah, sometimes it's quite good to have a kind of blunt, not blunt needle, like a rounded needle, as opposed to some of those needles that are really, really sharp, because it means that you can stitch and there's less chance of you sort of splitting the threads, which I find happens sometimes. I hope this is right. We shouldn't talk this much over it. Whoops. That's that bit. And I think it's called landmark stitching or something, where you check, does this corner now match up with this corner? So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and it should be 3, 2. So that's correct. And then over here, I'm going to go across. I'm just going to carry my thread. I don't think it matters that much. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I've just realised if anyone's stitching at the same time as watching this, apologies that you're going to be hearing me count. I've just done that wrong, so that's fine because at least I spotted it. I'll try to count in my head going forward. Oh, I can feel this one needing to spin, so I'm just gonna drop it. I really hope you can see this, but I've got a horrible feeling that it keeps coming out of focus every couple of seconds. Yeah, it's doing it every time my hand goes in front. I'm really sorry. I don't know how to fix that right now. Oh, that's really annoying. Oh, I knew I was right at the end then. I think what I'll have to do then is try my other camera. Even if my hand stays on the screen? No. Sorry, that was me. I bounced around then. I was trying to find it whilst looking at the camera. I was like, stop looking at the camera, look at the actual stuff. Okay. Lovely job. So I just turned over and that wasn't too bad. Got a little bit of an end there. So I've got, at some point, oh, I'll show you this box that I put together. I've got an orc catcher here from Joe Bird, Ladybird Designs. Where are you? There you are. Oh gosh, it's very zoomed in, isn't it? Let's zoom you out. There you go. Oh yeah, this is the light here. So it's this little orc catcher. you go. And there is my first wart. Goodbye. Okay, so I don't feel like with petite treasure braid it's particularly a problem doing slightly longer strands, because you can just cut it off. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to try and find my needle. Okay, I'm back. I just double check. I'm just obsessed with checking. It's definitely the right one. It's definitely the right one. Okay, let's go. It's definitely the right one. Whoops, just throw my needle away. I also watched it back, and it looks like, as horrendous as the autofocus kind of thing is, every time my hand comes into shot, it kind of takes the focus off of this. It doesn't actually appear to be too bad, so I'm not worrying about it. I'm just gonna go with it. Hopefully it's not too horrendous for you. Hopefully it's something that you may enjoy. Oh, this is a lovely colour. Right, I'm just going to pull it towards me again. I'm leaning forward. Whee! The whole thing just came forward about a foot. That's how much I was leaning forward. Where am I going? Over here. Whoops. Honestly, the centerpiece of this is like its own piece, and it's one of those things where I didn't realise quite how much is involved. I mean, I knew. I think we all know if we pick up a chatelaine quite what's involved, but this is something else. Okay, I'm just going to drop the thread. I think I can feel it needing to twist. Yeah, only a little bit. And actually, while I was watching it back, for no good reason, I had a thought about beading. Now, I've done some beading on a mill hill recently, and I think, other than that, the beading I've done was, wow, over 20 years ago. I did a lavender and lace piece, which is currently hanging up framed in my mum and dad's house, and it had a lot of beads. The actual fairy was holding strings of beads, like she had just had her hand cupped and she was holding these strings of beads, and there were probably beads in the rest of it as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was a lot. I'm just going to spin it again. It doesn't need to spin very much. If anything, actually, that time. Never mind. Did it anyway. What was I going to say? Beading. Yeah, I think I bought some invisible thread, but it was just sort of generic, bog standard, cheapo thread in maybe a craft store. I don't even think it was probably a craft store. So I was going to ask, I've heard of Nymo. That one feels a bit loose. Is it stuck underneath on anything? Ooh, let's just check. That one feels a bit weird. Wait, I got a knot? No, it's fine. Oh, what was I saying? Beading, invisible thread. So I've heard of Nymo, but I wondered if, and I'm probably going to bother some of my fellow stitching friends about this, but I wondered if you could possibly let me know what thread you use for stitching beads specifically on a chatelaine. I think, therefore I am, but what I think is that this scroll frame is not as horrendous as I thought it was going to be. Stitching this, even with this much, sorry, the focus is completely gone. I hope that was probably gone for ages. Sorry, before I noticed. There's not a huge amount of give on this. I would say that the bars of the stand are actually pushing through the fabric, so that might actually be settling it a bit. There's a bit of give, just a light tap. But I think this might be enough for me to bead as I go. I really, 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 really don't want to bead afterwards on this, which I know you can do. But I'd really like to bead as I go and then cover it with a bit of felt. So my question is, what would you use to bead with? Whoops, bashed the light. Well, if you can hear any heavy breathing, it isn't me. My cat is having a good old sleep over there. Nice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now I'm just doing a little stitch around this centerpiece. So the pattern specifically says to, and this is the advice from everybody that I've spoken to about a chatelaine, do the cross stitching first, do the specialty stitches, back stitch. I would probably do back stitch after that, and then do the beads, and then do the framing, and then do the putting on the wall. Nice. Now, is there anything I can get to with a bit of travel? No, I'll just save that. There's no point going there. I'll save the bit of thread, shall I? There's not a huge amount left. Oh, isn't it pretty? Now, at this point, would you have got more gold out and done the bit down here? The 2 bits down here? I probably would in an ideal world. What am I saying, in an ideal world? It's my world. I just decided what to do. But I think I just really wanted to get some different colours in, and I really want to get some of the threads in, the threads that aren't petite treasure braid, I mean. And I can come back to any of it at any point, so it really doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm just going to turn this over and end the thread. So this is my catched. Oh, hang on. Let me put you on camera. There you go. Get you in a bit of a focus. This is my thread that is still attached. This gold one here is still attached here with a knot, and I've carried it to here. That is the middle, and it has been caught by some gold and some new stuff, but I will actually just leave it, and at some point soon that will catch under another layer as I go round, and then I'll probably use that. Isn't there a groove somewhere? Oh yeah, it's over on, oh, it's over there. Is there one on this side? No. On here there's just a, oh my goodness, my hands are massive on here, sorry. There's a groove there that you can put your thread back in, or like me, get your other thread caught in it. Yeah, just why not? But it doesn't quite fit. Here's where I've cut it. I've learned this now. Here's where I've cut it. That's where the cut starts, and I can't get that in there. Never mind. So I'm going to pull it to the top a bit, and I'm just going to thread it through. In fact, I realised I can zoom out. I thread it through the hole at the top there. It's fine, doesn't matter. And then this piece, I will keep this piece, and I'm going to put it on like a little, like I would on a floss drop. Oh, I wonder when my floss away bags will arrive. There you go. This is why I feel like it needs its own bag, because I think I'm just going to make it really messy otherwise. So there are beads in all of these. Yeah, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. These two, these two, these two, and these 3 are all now beads. The next layer around the outside is, I know what it is because I already looked, but I've forgotten. I haven't forgotten. Oh, you know what I mean. Anyway, this kind of symbol, right? Let's go and have a look. Okay, so this is Elephant and Castle. So this was my favourite one. It's this one. God, isn't it beautiful? Okay, goodness, I have no idea how to start this. Let's just undo it. What could possibly go wrong? So what I planned to do was to go through all of these threads and put them on floss drops and get myself, or bobbins or whatever, and get myself ready. What I actually did was not that. I just couldn't wait today. You may have already seen I couldn't wait. So I just decided, do you know what? Just start it. Okay, so here's the ends of the loop, and I'm going to do it. I've done it. I've snipped the ends. Now I'm going to go to the other end, and I'm going to snip these. I've got them on the floss drop, like this, but I've taken one strand off. I might store it like a floss drop here, say for instance, next to it, but what I'll do is I will split the thread of this one sort of manually, literally go in here and get one strand, etc, etc, and do it like that instead, and then that way I won't damage anything, hopefully. It's very wibbly wobbly. Let me see if I can get it on the camera. That's a technical term, if you were wondering. Very wibbly wobbly because it is, how do I show this? There you go. Very twisted. Yeah. Okay, and so then I can store this bit, oh my gosh, my hands are huge, on a floss drop off to the side, for instance, like so. So that's what my back's looking like so far. And I just tied this one up under a couple of things here, did a little loopy thing, and then come here. Okay, so this is the first floss to go in. And I'm going to move the light. Oh, it's lovely. Ooh, here, have a string of butter to stitch with, because it is so smooth. Wow. I knew it would be. I've stitched with some, what was it? It's Dinky Dyes on my Dracula's Confession bat. But wow, this is like something else. Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, got it. All right, I'm now stitching two-handed with my other hand underneath. and I'm not as good with my non-dominant hand underneath. It's not as natural for me to find the hole where the needle's got to go, so it's not as comfortable, but I would say that the camera seems to be finding that a lot happier. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I can do it the other way around, but it's not as, I don't know if you can see me, it's like dragging the needle underneath. Ugh. I've trained myself, pigeon, I've trained myself to do it the other way around in case anything ever happened to my right hand. I'd want to be able to still stitch with my left hand. Okay, so I just wanted to show as well, not show you, but just to sort of ask you, if I was to complete this stitch, I'll just complete it and show you. If I was to complete this stitch, this would go over here. I haven't quite pulled it that tight. So if I then stitched this stitch, this thread is then sort of coming this way, and it's just sort of quite long. And if I then stitched here, this thread is sort of, I don't know, because it's travelling in this direction, it's quite a long stitch, as opposed to, this might mess up now. Let me not try and be clever. Let me unpick it properly. Sorry. As opposed to, if I stitch it, because I know I've got a stitch over here on the left, if I instead stitch it this way, and then I stitch over here, the thread, this stitch becomes a sort of normal lengthed stitch, because it travelled this way and then it's sort of pulled back this way. So when you do things like this, so I'm now going up into the diagonal, would you stitch like away from the direction that you are now traveling with your stitches? So I've done this stitch going this way. Would you then stitch like opposite the direction of travel? Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but that doesn't really mean much. Oh, we're starting to get purple now. How's the focus? Oh, it's not too bad. Oh, I felt like that was a colour change coming. We're not quite going to get to the teal section on this bit. That's for next time. I feel like I say that really Bristolian. Teal. Wowzers. So I did just, sorry, I know this is off camera, but I did just want to say that I have, in the last couple of days, been watching Crafty Lisa. I will link her channel below. Lisa hasn't put out a video for quite a while, And I found her channel, ages ago, a couple of years ago. She did this huge charity bike ride. It was just incredible to watch her vlog of it. And she also, I think 4 years ago, did a Chatelaine start. And she showed that she did an unboxing, and then she showed she's a UK floss tuber, by the way. And then she showed how she'd gotten on. I was intimidated by one of these for a really long time, but I realised it's an unnecessary intimidation that is just built on seeing the outcome of these incredible pieces and thinking, crikey, I don't think I could do that. Look at the size of them and look at the complexity of what's required. Actually, we can all do them. This is just a one cross at a time thing, which a lot of cross stitchers agree with. So, Crafty Lisa was very much that kind of, I mean, I've been planning this for a while, but I probably would have continued to put it off. Yeah, Crafty Lisa was very motivational, very inspirational in the last couple of days. And I would also say Kelly from Animal Instinct and Animal Stitches also is so incredibly knowledgeable and so incredibly helpful that I must thank you as well, because you've been on this kitting up journey with me for for well over a year as well, and I appreciate all your help and research, and you sending me some of the threads has been wonderful, so I really appreciate it, and the motivation to start, and showing me your chatelaine. And if you haven't seen Kelly's chatelaine, please go and check it out. She's doing, I think she's just stitched a Taj Mahal, and she's stitching it on black fabric. Crazy. Let's just untwirl this. I've got quite a long strand of this. I don't know if that's a sensible idea, but I've done it now. This one is a one at a time stitch. So if this scroll frame didn't work out, I would have considered putting it on a hoop, stitching, and then ordering myself a stand, a different frame. Sorry, not a stand, a different frame. Right, so I've got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. 1, 4. Yeah, sorry, I was counting again. Okay. Oh, she's found the pigeon in the garden. Not literally, she's looking at it through the doors. What have you got, Ripley? Silence. Now I've got to be careful because I can't see the thread underneath. But in a minute I'm not just going to get a claw to the knee. That's okay, she's wandered over there. Dinner time for her now. I mean, I can see why you might get a bit stuck on these. As in, don't want to put it away stuck, not stuck. Because, yeah. Yep. This is a nice thread. This is a nice thread. It feels slightly less buttery, I suppose, than the Gloriana. Okay, that's good. That one should butt up against the Petite Treasure braid, so that's excellent. It's slightly less buttery than the Gloriana, but I mean, not by much. Was that the third and the fourth one? No, it's the second one. It's the second and third one. 1, 2, 3. Second and third one, yeah. God, I thought I'd done it all wrong then. But I didn't. I definitely haven't been concentrating fully. But that's okay. As long as it's right so far, then that's all that matters. Oh, oh, I found it. Nope, try that one. I need to untwist my thread. Oh, my right hand made a rare appearance then. It's really strange because I've looked at this design 1,000 times probably over the last couple of years, and there's so much in it that you don't actually kind of see it. Did I split the thread? No. Do you know what I mean? I've never looked at the centre with so much detail to see the detail before. So it's just a really strange, yeah, I hadn't really sort of looked at it before. But this is fun. Hello everybody. Okay, so I've got a bit of an update for you. This is day 2 of the chatelaine and I cannot stop working on it. I did it before work, I did it at lunchtime, and it's incredible. And I was up till about 1 AM reading the instructions for the next part. So yeah. Oh, and looking in the Facebook group, because it's called the Chatelaine Support Group, I think. Chatelaine Support Group. And some of the parts in my pattern don't quite match, and I'll go through it at some point. But yeah, so it was yeah, so I was sort of looking that up because I needed a bit of help. Anyway, so here I am. Technically this bit around here is part 1, and everything up to this grey is the actual centre motif, which is in part 9. So this centre motif only is in part 9. So you have to kind of go, I just thought I really wanted to start in the middle. I think I've told you this already, so sorry if I'm repeating myself. So I worked on this and then I gradually worked out, because this bit here is repeated on the centre motif in part 9. So this bit is included. So when I go to part 1, which is this bit and more around the outside, this will match up. And I will say that there's a slight difference between the metallic stitches here in the centerpiece part of the pattern versus the part 1 part of the pattern. This is slightly different, but I've gone with whatever was in the center motif, which I think came after the original center motif. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's such a small part in the whole thing. It's fine, and I love it the way it is. So I just wanted to let you know where I've got to. All the stitching in this centerpiece with the grey is now done. I've moved on to my first diamond eyelets. Is that what they were called? Yeah, diamond eyelets here, and this is using a Princess Pearl Petite, Gloriana Princess Pearl Petite thread. It's one ply, so you just use one strand. I'm going to zoom in. I know you can probably see really well from there, but I'm just going to zoom in because you'll be able to see the thread a bit better. There we go. Yeah, it's one ply, and then all bits go into this, and it does say to sort of pull it really tight so that you get a big hole in the middle that you can then see. It's quite interesting because this one's really green at the bottom left, and then all the others are kind of this grey blue colour, so the variegation is so random if you're only stitching a small part. So that's done, and then I moved on to the Algerian eyelets here. There you can see I've done the top 4, and again you sort of do it so that you create this hole in the middle, and then each little square is backstitched to create these little square motifs. They're really sweet. They're really sweet. So what I thought I'd do is just do a couple of these with you. I'm going to move the light to the other side. Okay, hopefully you can see that a bit better, and my hand, my giant hand, will be in the way, but that is just what's going to happen now. So I'm just doing the back stitch around this one. One thing I would say, and this was thanks to Kelly, Animal Instinct Animal Stitches, is she mentioned that there was a Chatelaine errata list, essentially an error log. So wherever they've spotted errors in the patterns, they've written it in this big list, which is really, really helpful. And I'm really pleased that I looked at that and that Kelly told me it existed, because straight away in this centerpiece, the thread for this one is slightly different. The thread I'm using now is discontinued, so I'm using a different one. That was 2. Yeah, that was 2 things that I was looking at thinking, oh, I don't have that colour in my list. Have I got the wrong one? And there were people in the Facebook group who mentioned it as well, because if you don't have the pattern, and you can't share, obviously you can't share the pattern or any of the documents that you get with, or any of the instructions and stuff, but yeah, people in there were kind of able to answer a lot of the questions that people have. I spent a lot of time, I've done it again, coming towards the end of this one now, looking up some information to help along with this. Oops. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, I'm back. What was I saying? Don't know. But I wasn't going to say, but I'll say it, that when I was stitching on this at lunchtime, I actually said out loud to myself, no one else in the room, not even my cat, why didn't I start this sooner? And I started planning all the ones I want to do in my head next. Yep. So, not that this is going to be anytime soon, but given that you do have to plan ahead in terms of ordering the threads and the weight on some of these specialty floss, I think the three oh, I just caught myself being an idiot. The three I want to do are butterfly lace, poison garden, and oh, I can't remember who it was. I'm such a moron, I should have written it down. Oh, you can see the, well, I hope you can see the variegation. This one's much darker than that one in terms of the colour pink. So again, I think if I did that, it would potentially go right across this hole. So I'm going to travel. I can't remember who it was. I think I took a screenshot of them or I wrote it down. I'll try and find it. And if not, I will definitely credit them in future. But I saw somebody had finished, I think it was Versailles. And, well, yep, that's the one. That's the third one I want to do. If it's still available. I'm sure they are, but yeah. Oh, don't they look pretty? They look so shiny. Wow, this is cool. I can't get over how cool it is. This is a needle minder from an Owl Forest embroidery kit. Swan Lake, which I started the other day. Shh, don't tell anyone. Like I need another new start. And so that, yeah, I'm sort of into swans at the moment. Okay. I need to get a wriggle on because I have to do some weeding, which is really exciting. Okay, I'll just pause to find out what I'm doing next. Okay, bye. Also, one of the benefits of printing off some of the instructions is that you can highlight it in green. I do like a highlighter. Okay, I'm back. So I'm now doing a back stitch in a petite treasure braid. Haha, no, that's good. So this is why you need to check. Had I gone down there, I'd be here. But actually, the whole of this backstitch line is inside here, so it's not under this one, it's under this blue one, and then it's in between the blue and the lighter colour, not on the outside. So I'm going to frog this bit and redo. Just have to keep following this. Can you still see? No. Okay, well, to save you watching me just backstitch this stuff, I will come back in a bit. Just a quick check-in to say that I've now finished this centre motif, this bit. Not this bit, this bit's part 1. This is the centre motif proper. So all I was going to say is, I think the last time I saw you, I'd done these, then I did the eyelets, then I did this silver backstitch, which is here, in this sort of step. And then I did this gold backstitch. Well, yeah, I suppose it's backstitch. So crosses here. And then there's no instructions for the outer line. It just says to stitch it and what thread to use. So I've seen some people stitch this every 1 cross stitch. Hang on, I think I might miss some. No, it is there. It's just the light. Where am I? Here. I thought I'd missed some, but I haven't. It looks like I have from here, but I haven't. Yeah, so some people have been stitching this per 1 cross stitch, but I'm going over 2 cross stitches with each stitch. I quite like that effect, so I decided to stay with that. All the colours in this one. This is the kind of, there you go, if you focus on it, that's the colour that it looks in real life. If you focus elsewhere, it is actually that sparkly with bits of green and pink and all sorts. It's just amazing. So I'm off to start, well, carry on with part 1. And as I said, focus down here, my part 1 now is going to be slightly different around here. I don't think I need to do anything. I think these 3 empty stitches are fine. They just need to be filled with something that I'll find out about now. Let's see what happens. Bye.